This is an introduction to the C++ cout statement using this online compiler called onlinegdb. And when you go there, the first thing you'll want to do is go to C++ for the language. I'm going to delete this block comment up here. And I'm also going to add a using namespace std. When you do that, you don't have to do this std : in front of each cout statement right here. Now, that's not really, this isn't really recommended for very large programs or projects, but for what we're doing here, it's fine. And so the cout statement stands for console out. It is a command or a function within this IOStream library. Also, the cin statement, cin. Okay, so the cout. I usually put an extra space right here, but in between the two less than signs, which is the redirect. And so anyway, I'm just going to hit the run to run it, and there it is. There is the output is hello world. Okay, so now let's play around with this. If I add another cout statement underneath it, today is rainy. Maybe it's not rainy when you're watching the video though. And so now if I run it, you'll see that, oh, hello world, it doesn't even put a space. It puts on the same line, today is rainy. Okay, so this, just because you have another cout statement doesn't mean it goes to the next line. To go to the next line, you need a new line. And that is a \n. Okay, and so that needs to go within the quotations right here, because within the quotations is what is going to output, the text that's going to output, and the \n needs to be within those quotations. Now it will do that. Now it will put the next line, today is rainy, on the next line. Okay, so that is a typical thing to do, is to end each cout statement with a new line, a \n or new line. Okay, now of course you could put you could put a \n in the middle of a line like that. So if I do that and run it, then hello, then new line, world, and then today is rainy. Okay, so \n can go anywhere within the quotations. Okay, so now let's look at a couple of more backslash. Backslash is a special character. And like if you actually wanted to print a backslash, let's say I wanted to have a backslash between hello and world, like that, this would be a problem. It's actually going to give me a little error right here. Actually, I'm sorry, not an error, but a warning. Warning means it still compiles and runs, but it doesn't like it. So it's still something that you need to look at. Okay, and that's because a backslash is a special character within the cout statement, and it expects a letter after it, such as an N for a new line. A T, \T means a tab. Oops, I got rid of my world. So that puts a tab between hello and world. That will run without any problem. Hello and world. Okay. But now to actually print a backslash, you have to do two backslashes. So two backslashes will print one backslash like that. Okay. And so, you know, if I wanted two backslashes, I'd need to do four backslashes. Now it's going to do two backslashes. Okay. So now another special character is the quotation, because the quotation is what is used to contain the text that we're going to output. Let's just say I wanted to have the word is within quotations. Well, if I just put the quotations, that's going to mess it up. Because it's thinking, oh, well, that's where you're ending the quotation, then is. And so that's going to cause an error or a warning. So to actually print a quotation, you need to do a \quotation like that. And so now that will actually print the quotations just like that. Okay. So now knowing this, this would be a good time to pause the video and work on this little project. Well, don't pause it until I explain the instructions. So what you should try to do is finish this program right here so that it outputs this little ASCII art face. ASCII art is artwork made up of characters. And so here you'll need to do the special characters. For the quotations, you'll need a backslash in front of them. For this backslash, you'll need a backslash in front of it. So try to make your program output this. Okay, so now would actually be the good time to pause the video. Okay, so I'll show you how to do that. So what I'm going to do for the first line is I will go a space, then a forward slash, and then I need I guess that's the hair, 3 quotations, and then a backslash, which will be 2 backslashes, and then a backslash in. Right there. So there's the first line. Okay. The second line is going to be something like this. The ear, the vertical bar, an O, and an O, and then another vertical bar, and then an ear. And then the third line will be a space, vertical bar, and an underscore right there, space, and then a vertical, and then a backslash in, semicolon at the end. And then the next line will be a backslash. So I need 2 backslashes, and then 3 underscores, and then a forward slash, and then backslash in for the new line. And every line, of course, needs to end in a semicolon. Okay, so not sure if it's going to work. Let's find out how it looks. Okay, the only problem is I need to move the bottom over 1 more space right there, and then hit run again. And so there it is. Looks pretty close. Okay. So that's just a little introduction to doing cout statements and special characters. Okay, so now, besides text, we can also output math. So if I output 2 plus 3, that's literally going to output 2 plus 3 because it's within quotations. But now, if I remove the quotations, then it is going to evaluate it. So now it will output a 5. Okay? And also, most programming languages, I think, will follow the order of operations. So if I go output 2 plus 3 times 3, it will do the 3 times 3 first. So 3 times 3 would be 9 plus 2, so that would be 11. Okay? If you weren't doing the order of operations, you'd go 5 times 3 or 15. Okay? So now the mathematical operators, besides plus and asterisk for time, we've got minus, 7 minus 4 will give us a 3. And we also have divided. Okay, so now divided, that's going to be a little, if I do 9 divided by 3, that gives us 3, exactly what we'd think. Okay, but now what if I do 3 divided by 2? Okay, so the correct answer would be 1.5. But watch what it does. It just outputs a 1. Okay, so this is very important to remember, that if you divide an integer, meaning a number without a decimal point, by another integer, then it will give you your answer as an integer, and it will just cut off or truncate past the decimal point. Okay, But now if we add our decimal point, either to the top or the bottom or both, now we're no longer dividing an integer by an integer. We're actually, these are floating points now. And so now it will give us our answer as a floating point. So something important to remember, because usually when you divide, you want the correct answer, but sometimes you actually just want it to cut off. Okay, so now there's only one more mathematical operation in standard mathematical operation in C++, and that is the modulus. Okay, so if I go 20, mod uses a percent time, 20 mod 7. Okay, so I'm going to put a comment. Remember, if we have 2 forward slashes, anything past it is a comment and the compiler ignores it. So this is modulus, or a lot of times they'll just call it mod, M-O-D, mod. Okay, so that gives us the remainder in a division. Okay, so 7 goes into 22 times, 2 times 7, 14, and then the remainder will be 6. So remainder in a division. Okay, it's more useful than you might think. Okay, so now there are plenty of other math functions that we can do, but we've got to include another library, and so that's for another chapter. Okay, so those are your basic 5 math operations. Oh yeah, and I forgot, you can use parentheses. So, you know, if I go 2 plus 3 times 5, now the parentheses will supersede the asterisk. Okay, so now we'll get 25. Okay, 2 plus 3 is 5 times 5. Now, there's no math operation for exponent like 2, you might think hat to the 3rd power. So that's not a valid operation. Okay, so that's how we can output math. Now, what if we combine that within a cout? What if my cout said 3 plus 5 is equal, and now I want to calculate the answer? If I want to, I could do it on a second cout statement. I could say cout 3 plus 5. Okay, so let's see it. So 3 plus 5 is equal to 8. So I'm actually doing the calculation right here. But a lot of times, what I like to do, and what I think what a lot of programmers like to do, is for one line of output, I like to put it on one line up here. So to do that, if I want to put this on one line of output, what I do is I can extend the cout statement with another 2 less than signs. So when we switch from outputting text to outputting a mathematical operation, then you can extend it with the 2 less than signs. Okay, now what if we want to do a new line? Like, what if I have another line that says, thanks, something like that. Okay, and I want that on the next line. Oh, well, it's on the same line. Okay, so now if I want to do a new line after a mathematical operation, we can't put a backslash in. It's got to go within quotations. Okay, so it would need to go within quotations. And once again, whenever you switch between printing text and a math, you need to extend it with another 2 less than signs. Okay, so here 3 plus 5 within quotations, and then we switch to math with 2 less than signs. Now we switch back to text. Okay, now this is such a common thing that there is a constant that is equal to that backslash n within quotations. That constant is end L, not a 1, but an L, end line. Okay, and so that means the exact same thing as the backslash n within quotations. And so this is very, very common to see these end Ls in cout statements. Because a lot of programmers will say, oh, that's more readable than putting the backslash in quotations. And I'll agree with that. Okay. So usually what I do, I mean, you could do an indel after that, or you could put the backslash in there if you wanted to skip. So you could kind of do either way here. Okay. Now let's look at variables. Another thing that we can print are the value of variables. Okay. I'll have another video on variables, but just to introduce a simple variable as an integer variable, which stores a number without a decimal point. To use a variable in C++, you have to declare it. So I'm going to declare a variable as an int or integer variable, and I'm just going to name it x. And then I can assign it a value equals 8. Okay, so I'm declaring an integer variable. I'm naming it x, and then I'm making it equal to the value of 8. Okay, so now I can output, well, x is equal to x, like that. Okay, so I'm outputting the value of a variable. X is equal to 8. Okay, we could also put some math in there. X minus 2. X is now equal to 6. So in this case, we're not changing the value of x. We're just outputting 2 less than x by putting the math here within the cout statement. Okay. So let's see. Okay, I think that's all I'm going to cover on this cout statement. The important thing is to practice. So,
have a great day.